she told just a wild story about what was going on at the house, even at 7 a.m.
He done already bought off and paid off everybody he possibly could.
Some of the people in there was loyal to some of the people she was speaking out about. They wouldn't let her in, and she wasn't going for that.
A-list celebrities are finally speaking out against Sean Diddy Combs and being called to testify in a federal investigation in front of a grand jury. The veil of lies protecting Diddy is finally going to come off, and everyone that Diddy accused is about to be revealed. Stay with us as we explore the 25 new lawsuits filed against Diddy and take a deeper look at new footage of Jaguar Wright calling the feds.
The idea that there are sexual predators in power, not just in Hollywood, I think all across any place there's a boss with underlings in any corporation or any industry, you have a type of sexual politics that goes on that can slide in between appropriate ethics and decorum to, inappropriate behavior to the point of harassment and sexual predatory behavior.
Well, I mean, I think people understand that, but the larger question is there a culture of complicity in Hollywood where women are afraid to speak up because they'll be blacklisted, men are afraid to speak up because either they're out of the same fear or they just think, well, this is the way the system works.
I think there are people that say, hey, this is how it works, pure and simple. And this is why I got into it, and this is why I have power. This is how it works, and you have to understand that. That does not carry the day. Complicity is also complicity. The people who know, well, look, this is how we do business, and that's what it's got to be done. I'm sorry it's like that. So beware. That's also present, without a doubt, but it does not carry the day.
Sean Diddy Combs' alleged freak-off tapes are now being sold on the dark web, and some of the biggest names in Hollywood and the music industry are on those tapes. These tapes have even made their way into the hands of prosecutors from the FBI after a source close to Diddy and Jay-Z was subpoenaed in a federal investigation and confessed on Diddy to get immunity.
And those statements include descriptions of what the witness says he saw on those tapes. So I asked him about that, and he answered what he could, given the limitations imposed on him after testifying before the grand jury. Out of those 8 videos, 8 celebrities, 6 men and 2 women, how many of those 8 celebrities were close to being underage or potentially underage?
2 males.
2 males. And of those 8 celebrities, how many of them were intoxicated or under the influence of drugs?
This is going to be all speculation. I just want to preface it by he wouldn't know if they were. Right.
Sure.
Appear to
Let
be
me rephrase
right,
it.
Based on, yes.
Understand. Out of the 8 celebrities who were recorded having intimate relations with Sean Combs, how many of them appeared to be either inebriated or intoxicated or under the influence of drugs?
All of them. All of them.
Out of those 8, how many appear to be potentially victimized? How many might have been victimizing?
I think all, to be honest, all.
Were victims
They
or
victims.
were perpetrating?
Victims.
They were all 8 were victimized,
Yeah,
meaning
victim.
this was happening to them and they were inebriated.
Right. Not knowing, I guess, how much proof it was in it, what they was doing.
And of those 8, how many seemed to be potentially minors?
2 to 3, possibly 3.
Courtney Burgess, a source close to Kim Porter, has come forward and claimed that they possess 8 tapes that show Sean Diddy Combs engaged in sexual activity with minors, and 2 A-lister celebrities are actually shown in the tapes. During an appearance on Michael Cox's True Crime podcast, Burgess hinted at who these celebrities were and actually named Usher.
We intend to name people in these lawsuits. We're not going to do it in interviews. We're not going to do it, without doing our due diligence, because obviously, these types of allegations are very hurtful to people if they're not true, and very hurtful, frankly, if they are true. But if they're true, you shouldn't have been in the room and you shouldn't have been participating. So I anticipate that we're going to start filing lawsuits, and it may not be big names at first, but we have a long list of names, and you might imagine in situations like this that when a victim tells us that this person was in the room or this person participated, we want to do as much due diligence as humanly possible before we file that case, because in the United States, in almost every state, public filings are in fact public. And when you name somebody in a lawsuit, the press is going to pick it up, and we're aware of that. So we're going to make sure that we dot our I's and cross our T's, and I expect that there will be some people named in these lawsuits that will raise some eyebrows.
The investigation surrounding Sean Diddy Combs has actually progressed to the point of hearings, and leaked footage actually shows witnesses going into a federal courthouse to testify in front of a grand jury. Courtney Burgess was seen walking into a closed hearing with his attorney, Ariel Mitchell, to allegedly hand over flash drives containing freak-off tapes. Courtney claims that he was actually given these tapes by Diddy's ex-wife, Kim Porter, and she wanted him to get exposed.
You made a lot of allegations, right? Are you expected to eventually turn those things over, or?
Well, that's what we're going to head over to do now. So we have a hearing now to determine what we're going to do in terms of what documents we'll have to turn over and what documents we do not have.
So why were you in court tonight?
Just to give testimony to the grand jury. He was subpoenaed by the court, so as we all know, if you don't answer a subpoena, the marshals will come to your house as they came to his house, and they will bring you here. So that's why we're here today.
I know you can't mention celebrities per se. You did mention some in the interview. So just to clarify, you can back that up with actual factual footage.
We have, it's things that we have, but we got to go to the other courthouse. So I don't know if that's any more questions, but we kind of got another hearing to go.
Are you nervous, or do you feel cool?
Nah, I ain't never nervous. The only thing's fair to me is God.
So I know you did mention what was on the flash drive before. Would you be able to kind of go over that now, or is that something that you can't discuss?
No, we're trying to go to discuss that now, what we will be able to talk to in terms of what was available and what was on those flash drives.
Okay.
But it was the book,
so it is Kim Porter's book, but not necessarily some of the stuff with the celebs that were mentioned besides.
It's hers. Nobody touched it.
Oh, so it is her official book.
Yes. Nobody.
And no one touched it.
Nobody altered it. Nothing.
So it's not the copy that the gentleman said that he was selling before. No.
No.
It's two different copies. That one was edited, and we have the original copy.
TMZ has also found a tape that incriminates Diddy, and although they haven't named their source to protect his privacy, the lead producer of TMZ has gone on record to state that he has seen the alleged freak-off video, and Sean Diddy Combs can clearly be seen having a threesome with minors.
And I want to start with Tania Wallace, who claims she's been at a freak-off and said she saw children, and it was hard for her to say it.
It was very hard for her to say it, Ashley. So what she said was that she was flown out from LA to Miami by the Saudi prince. And they ended up eventually on Star Island at one of Diddy's parties. She says, among many other things, I mean, she goes into detail. This, she says, happened in 2018. She says that she walked into the house and there was a cluster of adults around what she described as little people. And they were dressed up as Japanese Barbies. I forgot the name. It's Harak something. You can help me out here. It's a certain type of Barbie. Anyway.
I know the name, but I've forgotten it. But go ahead.
So she explained that they were just clustered around these little people, and I kept pushing her, and she eventually said, look, they are little people who should not be at an adult party. And I pushed her, and it was apparent what she was saying is they were minors. Now, she didn't see anything specific that was going on with them other than that adults were kind of huddled around them. But she told just a wild story about what was going on at the house, even at 7 in the morning, that this thing apparently raged all night long.
It's amazing. TMZ always gets such great scoops, and this one might be one of your best as well. You got a hold of one of the freak-off tapes. Your producers have seen it. The description is, and I'll quote, it's directed by Diddy himself. And a male sex worker really sort of walks through what happened in the experiences that he had. They didn't sound illegal, but they sure seem to comport with a lot of the other stories that have been told.
Yeah. So the this was a threesome. What you would ask me about earlier about Tania Wallace, she said there were more than 100 people at that party, including at least 4 celebrities. But this, what you're talking about now, was a threesome, and that's something that the U.S. attorney even referenced. And his lawyer in an earlier documentary we did, he was describing threesomes. He says it was all consensual. So yes, what we're told is that this male sex worker was flown out to various locations over a couple of years: Miami, New York, Los Angeles, and one other. And they would meet in hotel rooms.
Another person claiming they have found a freak-off tape, Ariel Mitchell Kidd, an attorney representing an A-list celebrity who claims to have been abused by Sean Diddy Combs, has revealed new information about the existence of Diddy's alleged freak-off tapes. According to Mitchell Kidd, someone attempted to sell her a tape involving Diddy and minors in sexually intimate acts.
I also was just recently contacted by someone who wanted me to essentially represent them in the sale of one of the Diddy tapes.
You're saying that there's tapes and they're being shopped?
Yes, there have been people already shopping.
We've heard about the tapes, but
yes.
The shopping thing is
yes, there already have been tapes leaking around Hollywood, being shopped around to individuals in Hollywood. But one particular person contacted me to shop a particular video they were in possession of, and to contact the person who was in the video to see if they were interested in purchasing the video before it became a public knowledge.
I've heard this before, so like a catch and kill.
Catch and kill, correct.
Wow, can you, and I guess you can't reveal the person who is on
No, I
tape.
can't explain who the person was, but Mr.
High profile?
Mr. Combs was in the tape, and this other person is, I would venture to say, more high profile than Mr. Combs.
How is everyone, including TMZ, celebrities, and even the FBI, finally finding these freak-off videos? Well, this is because Diddy has started selling these tapes online on the dark web. In a recent interview, Jaguar Wright detailed how Diddy's freak-off videos are available for purchase on the dark web and being sold for millions of dollars to fund his legal defense. These allegations line up exactly with a cryptic call leaked from the prison where Diddy talks to his son, Christian Combs, and uses code words to ask him to get rid of the tapes.
Well, considering that the is selling his own evidence that would put him in jail against him on the dark net to the highest bidder, why would he sell evidence of his debauchery and savagery? Why would he sell on the dark net his tapes of just terrible? Wanna know why? Because he doesn't intend to stand trial.
Is he protecting people, or are people protecting him?
Oh no, he's selling it because he needs the cash. The last freak off tape that just got sold on the dark net, which I know because I monitor, went for $500 million. It had multiple stars in it. Nicki Minaj, Rihanna, Chris Brown, Justin Bieber, Drake. It was a really interesting night in Calabasas, and he just sold that footage.
Jaguar Wright, a source close to both Jay-Z and Diddy, has spoken out, and she's the one who revealed that Diddy was selling the freak-off tapes online. Now that Jaguar Wright has exposed Diddy, there's a target on her back, and Diddy is trying to keep her quiet. Big homie CC has actually warned Jaguar Wright and told her that Diddy is a dangerous person, and people who try to go against him often don't end up surviving.
She got song credits for writing for Al Green.
Take me through them not wanting to let her in the club.
She showed up to a place. Some of the people in there was loyal to some of the people she was speaking out about. they wouldn't let her in. And she wasn't going for that. She started setting it up. She started bugging up on the guys. They had to call the police on old girl. Oh, bro. Jaguar Wright get wild, bro. And if something happened to her, I just want to tell Jaguar Wright, be careful. She just went on Piers Morgan. Beyonce and Jay-Z sent Piers Morgan a cease and desist. Made Piers Morgan publicly apologize. Today, it's about to get dangerous for a lot of people. So if you out here doing what you're doing, because y'all not me. So you better be on your P's and Q's. It's about to get ugly. This is when people start to turn up dead right now. So keep that in mind.
Jaguar Wright's testimony could make or break the Diddy case, and she has personally helped dozens of celebrities come forward and talk about Diddy. Diddy is desperately trying to keep her quiet and has called basically everyone that Jaguar Wright talked to in order to silence them.
With having $75 million at his disposal, isn't that by nature the exact thing that they're worried about? If you have this much money, that you could make this thing, you could probably make people disappear if you really opted to.
See, this is the thing. That'll just make more trouble. Why would he make more trouble now? He done already bought off and paid off everybody he possibly could. Have you looked at the indictment? Like, he called some witnesses up to 54 times.
Yeah, 200 and how many angels? 200 something people he tried to reach out to.
Like, what are you running, a telethon or a telemarketing agency? Telemarketers don't make that many calls in one day. Or sometimes not even in a week, all depending on you was on that. You down for Diddy?
Jay-Z and Beyonce, Diddy's alleged co-conspirators, have also tried to shut down Jaguar Wright and even gone as far as to file a cease and desist order against her. According to Jaguar Wright, Jay-Z is actually a worse monster than Diddy because he's both patient and manipulative.
How many victims potentially do you think there could be?
Thousands. I've talked to hundreds that I deal with still myself. I have 3 victims right now who are willing to give testimony about not only what Mr. Carter has done to them, but his wife as well. They're a nasty little couple. They do nasty things.
What do you think happened with Kim Porter?
Keeping people against their will. Putting people on planes while they're unconscious, just like Aaliyah got on that plane. Unconscious. There's a lot of things that people don't want to talk about, Piers.
Listen, like I said, Jay-Z and Beyonce are not here, unfortunately, to respond to that.
I know. I'm just being honest with you.
You're perfectly entitled to your views, obviously. Kim Porter, a new book claims that Diddy may have been involved in her early death. What do you think of that?
I think people should really look into that more. I am friends with Albie Shore. I love him. I love his children. I knew Kim. We used to all hang out together at the Kit Kat Club back in the mid-90s when Diddy was first starting his reign. I watched that whole thing happen. And everything that Albert has been through, every attempt on his life that has been ignored by the authorities, it all leads back to Diddy, and everyone knows it. The wiretapping of the phones, putting air tag on children during visits. These are normal practices that these people do.
Jaguar, I've got to leave it there. I really appreciate you joining me. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me. And thank you for caring.
I do care. Thank you very much.
Other than the recent freak-off videos being obtained by law enforcement officers, almost 30 more lawsuits have been filed by the victims themselves. Allegedly, there are more than 200 victims that have been confirmed with matching police reports, doctors' reports, and even DNA evidence. Houston-based attorney Tony Busby is the one representing all of these victims.
The wall of silence has now been broken, and victims are coming forward. Our team has had at this point more than 3,285 individuals contact us, with people claiming to have been victimized by Sean Combs. After vetting, we now represent 120 individuals who intend to bring civil claims in civil court against Sean Diddy Combs, as well as claims against many other individuals and entities that we will name as defendants as we file these individual cases. They fear backlash in their communities. They fear backlash in their own families. They are afraid of retaliation from the perpetrators and their associates. They are rightly afraid for their own personal safety. I expect that through this process, many powerful people will be exposed. Many dirty secrets will be revealed. We know what we are potentially up against. And as is always the case in situations like this, when a celebrity is involved, we are vetting every call that we receive. We have had to turn away some. For each, we ask for corroboration. For each, we ask for the identity of witnesses. We also have collected pictures, videos, texts. We check venues, we check dates. We want to corroborate that the claims being made have legitimacy and merit. We have on staff now a former detective from the Major Offenders Unit of Houston Police Department who is helping us vet each claim. There are 60 males and 60 females who have joined us to pursue these claims as plaintiffs. In this group, 62% identify as African American, 30% are white, and the remainder are Hispanic or Asian. The victims are from more than 25 states. The majority are from California, New York, Georgia, and Florida. And I want to focus on these victims. When we talk about the ages of the victims when the conduct occurred, it's shocking. Our youngest victim at the time of the occurrence was 9 years old. We have an individual who was 14 years old. We have one who was 15. 25 of the 120 individuals who are plaintiffs in these cases were minors at the time of the acts complained of. The time frame of the acts complained of is very wide. The conduct at issue spans from the years 1991 all the way till this year, 2024. If you wonder why there are so many alleged victims, that's your answer. We're talking about more than 25 years of this type of conduct.
The only reason that Diddy was able to survive for so long without getting caught was because of the leverage he had on everyone else. Some of the most powerful people in Hollywood, politics, and even British royalty were all under pressure from Diddy because of the dirt he had on them. According to Gene Deal, Diddy's ex-bodyguard, Diddy would always try to get leverage on people who were more powerful than him so he could use it to blackmail them.
Whether it's something about the music, clothing, movies, they not gonna come out and speak on nothing that has anything to do with them, and they praying that they not on the tape doing crazy stuff, being oiled up in the whole 9 yards. They praying. So until the feds say, hey, yo, listen here. We got you on, hey buddy, we got you on this tape, and girl looked like she was pretty young. We're not gonna show it, but we need you to come and testify against Brother Love, P. Diddy, Puff Daddy, you know, Sean Combs. That's when they're gonna start talking, and they're not gonna be talking in his favor. When the feds come to them and show them what they got on tape, because if he had 250 tapes all over, 250 cameras all over the house, somebody got caught stealing a cookie out the cookie jar. It could be your favorite pastor. It could be your favorite politician. But they didn't think they was being watched. And Brother Love was watching. So he always played those kind of up games on people. So to have those cameras and know what he was doing, it's gonna give him the ups on everybody who came to that party. Even your favorite basketball player. Ain't no party like a Diddy party. We know who said that. He may be one of the persons got caught up in the Diddy party.
LeBron said that, but yeah, you might be right. You know, it sounds like he had all them hidden cameras to use it against people.
I think that was said in the indictment, right? That was said in the indictment. You know, somebody, I think Dawn may have said that. I don't know for sure, and correct me if I'm wrong. He would, even if you didn't want to do something, he would tell the individual, well, I got you on tape doing it before. And the person would feel pressured in having to do something or come and do something at the party or be at the party because he already had him on tape right then and there. But what you think when you do it the second time? He's still gonna have you on tape. Those tapes is the one who's killing, because people don't understand this.
Past victims of Diddy are now coming out into the public with shocking details of frankly vile crimes. One of these victims is Thalia Graves, who has filed a 26-page lawsuit naming Diddy and his bodyguard Joseph Sherman as defendants in a rape case.
That woman was visibly emotional during the news conference as she recounted a horrific and violent assault.
The internal pain after being sexually assaulted has been incredibly deep and hard to put into words.
Thalia Graves, sitting next to her attorney, Gloria Allred, alleges Sean Diddy Combs and his former bodyguard, Joseph Sherman, drugged and raped her at Bad Boys Record Studio in 2001, when she was 25 years old.
I'm emotionally scarred. It has been hard for me to trust others, to form healthy relationships, or even feel safe in my own skin.
According to the lawsuit filed on Tuesday in New York, Thalia was lured to the studio under false pretenses. She claims she was given a drink spiked with drugs, causing her to pass out. When she woke up, Thalia says she was restrained and being brutally assaulted by Diddy and his bodyguard.
Flashbacks, nightmares, and intrusive thoughts make me feel like it's a constant struggle.
In 2023, Thalia says she found out the rape had been recorded and through the years had been distributed to multiple people.
Defendant Combs and another defendant published and/or disseminated the videos without plaintiff's knowledge or consent.
Combs is facing at least 10 similar lawsuits. He remains locked up awaiting trial on human trafficking and racketeering charges.
I'm glad that he is locked up, but that's a temporary feeling of relief.
Thalia says she didn't go public until now because she says that Combs allegedly threatened to ruin her life if she said anything. Marla, Alex, I'll send it back to you guys in the studio.
That's something else we've heard from other alleged victims of Sean Diddy Combs. Gina Silva, thank you for that.
As we continue to uncover new details about the grand jury hearings, the alleged tapes, and the brave individuals coming forward, like Jaguar Wright, it's clear this story is far from over. What are your thoughts on these revelations? Do you think justice will finally be served? Or will Diddy's influence prevail once again?